All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Great Guns, 1941. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I thought it was pretty decent. Not to be confused with the 1927 animated cartoon by Walt Disney called Great Guns with an Explanation. This is going to be another Laurel and Hardy flick. If I'm not mistaken, if my memory doesn't fail me, Professor Quiz said this was one of the worst Laurel and Hardy movies. I actually thought it was quite funny. I laughed. It wasn't as funny as Marx Brothers Duck Soup, but pretty funny nonetheless, especially the minstrel show has some racist overtones in this. All right. Great Guns is a 1941 U.S. comedy film starring Laurel and Hardy. It was directed by Monty Banks and produced by Sol W. Wurtzel, famous film producer who came out of nowhere at 20th Century Fox. Raised it up into the great company that it became. Daniel Forrester IV is a wealthy but sheltered and bedridden young bachelor. He receives his first draft notice with elation. Eager to dispel his aunt's doubts about his constitution, joining the army alongside his chauffeur Ollie and gardener Stan. I guess Laurel and Hardy are part of the package deal with this joining the army thing. They're inseparable. Ollie, Stan, and Daniel are... It's either a three-way team or nothing. They undergo basic training at Fort Merritt in Texas while Daniel excels. Stan and Ollie's antics irk their drill sergeant, especially Stan's pet crow Penelope. Sergeant Hippo's jealousy grows as Daniel attracts the attention of Ginger Hammond, a very attractive woman, the fort's photo developer. I wouldn't like to see her now. She's still alive. Concerned for Daniel's health, Stan and Ollie attempt to dissuade Ginger from pursuing him, fabricating stories about his financial status. However, their efforts fail, and Hippo further intervenes by restricting Daniel's leave. When Stan and Ollie are captured during a military exercise, Daniel rescues them by having the troops follow Penelope. Their success earns them praise, and Daniel and Ginger's romance blossoms. Victorious, Stan, Ollie, and Daniel take part in a military parade, with Penelope now wearing a uniform. Oh, I guess I spoiled the ending. Sorry about that. Great Guns marked Laurel and Hardy's return to the screen following their departure from Hal Roach Studios. Now working for 20th Century Fox, the team encouraged challenges with unsuitable scripts and limited creative autonomy, contrasting sharply with the freedom they enjoyed at their former studio. The team's biographer, John McCabe, wrote, "On the set of Great Guns, they were giving their marching orders. It was do it the studio way or not at all. Any attempt to do things the old way, the Laurel and Hardy way, was not only resisted but put down." That might be a good thing. I actually got more laughs out of this one than the previous Laurel and Hardy movie that I reviewed. More specifically, Stan Laurel has been accustomed to contributing creatively both on and off screen at Roach, but Fox At Fox, he was employed only as an actor and was not allowed to contribute to the writing, directing, or editing. Despite the limited artistic success, Great Guns was an unqualified box office success, earning $1.089 million during its theatrical run. The film had cost $28,000 to produce. Boy, this Sal M. Wurtzel guy is a genius. And he wasn't even this wasn't even his industry calling, so to speak. Producer Saul M. Wurtzel had enough confidence in Great Guns to sign Laurel and Hardy for additional features before the first one was released, and the handsome financial returns justified Wurtzel's judgment. Wurtzel is justified. Alad Land appears briefly as a photo store company, a photo store customer, excuse me. All right. So that's what Wikipedia has to say about Great Guns. Let's see IMDb. On page load. It's taking so long. Jeez. Here we go. Great Guns, 1941. Huh? Having trouble with the internet here, but let's try this again. Great Guns, 1941. Okay, gets a 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, 1,600 ratings, not bad. So it's not an obscure movie by any means. It gets a pretty high rating. I'm rating it a little higher, 8 out of 10. Laurel and Hardy joined the army. They are hardly soldiers, but they believe their employer will need them. Now he's drafted. So I guess they sort of tag along and they become army grunts. Couldn't really understand how that could happen, but I guess you have to suspend disbelief for a while. 1941, an hour 14 minutes. You can watch it on YouTube for free. I believe it's public domain. More like this: The Big Noise, The Bullfighters, Jitterbugs, and A Hunting We Will Go. They all get about the same rating, 6.2 to 6.3. This was Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy's first movie for a major studio. The previous films had been released by MGM, but not made by the studio, and they were confounded by the ways of the Hollywood studio system. All of their previous films have been shot in sequence and had been directed, edited, and supervised by an uncredited Stan Laurel. Fox did not allow him such creative activity. In later years, Laurel continually and bitterly recalled the shabby treatment he and Hardy received from Fox and MGM. There's no way Hardy could have been drafted in the Army with his weight as high as it was. There you go. Suspend disbelief. Hippo. What did I ever do to deserve a couple of yaps like you? Stan, maybe You were good to your mother. Hippo, pipe down. Stan, yes, sir. Hippo, now at 10, you're all going over for an IQ test. And according to the answers you give, you'll be classified in a job. Stan, swell. We're good at quizzes, aren't we, Ollie? Oliver, maybe they'll put me in the intelligence corps. Oliver, brother, you're with him right now. So this was edited in Myra Breckenridge, which I have seen. Soundtracks, You're in the Army Now, 1917. Music by Isham Jones. Lyrics by Taylor and Ole Olson, played during the opening credits. Here's one review, 5 out of 10, by Plankton Rules, December 31st, 2007 on IMDb. Plankton Rules calls his movie review on IMDb surprisingly watchable. The 1940s were not kind to Laurel and Hardy. First, they looked very old time and had not been very kind to them, especially Stan Laurel. Second, Ollie now weighed in at about 350 pounds and simply was too rotund to do all the physical humor the duo had done in the 1930s. And finally, after Saps at Sea, 1940, the team unwisely left Hal Roach Studio, making films for RKO, Fox, and other studios that seem to have no idea what to do with them. Overall, these movies are dreadful, terribly unfunny, and sad for most Laurel and Hardy fans to watch. I guess that's why Professor Quiz didn't like this one. He told me to stay away from it, but of course, I watched it and I actually enjoyed it, believe it or not. Go figure. Perhaps among the best of these poor films was Great Guns. So I guess Saps at Sea is not going to be fun to watch. While the film wasn't particularly funny, it was also reasonably diverting. At least the team didn't embarrass themselves. However, at the onset, the film has one major strike against it. Like most of these 40 films, Stan and Ollie are not the whole show, so to speak. Instead, they are most supporting characters, something they almost never did in their earlier films. In Dance Masters, 1943, Stan and Ollie help out a guy and girl who are in love, but whose parents don't approve. In Nothing But Trouble, 1944, they help out young Prince. And here in Great Guns, they follow a guy into the cavalry who supposedly is too sickly to serve. It seems that in the 40s, Stan and Ollie now are no longer comedians, but social workers of sorts. At the onset, you must completely suspend disbelief to watch this film. Yeah, I had a problem with the beginning of the film. It started to get funny at around the 30-minute mark, I think. After all, the boys are both about 50 and must weigh as much as a tank. No army is that desperate for men. However, despite the improbability of the plot and that the team are more supporting players, Great Guns has a few pluses. Stan and Ollie's war film isn't great, but compares reasonably well to other contemporary films such as Buck Privates, Caught in the Draft, and Mr. Winkle Goes to War. Also, while not super funny, there are a few good moments, and I did laugh a few times, something I never did with many of the other 1940s films they made. Overall, if you're not a fan of the team or know little about them, don't watch this film. It will not particularly impress you, or you might assume it's like their earlier work, which it isn't. However, if you're like me, you're a rabid fan, then at least this one won't make you cringe, and it's a harmless diversion. So there, Professor Quiz. What do you have to say to that? Are you still watching my channel? No more comments in the comments section from Professor Quiz. What is going on with this world? They messed with his YouTube name. No, he doesn't comment on any of my videos anymore. He doesn't like me, I guess. Release date, October 10th, 1941 in the United States. Also known as Forward March. Filming locations. Filming location was at 20th Century Fox Studios, 10201 Pico Boulevard, Century City, Los Angeles, California, USA. Production companies, Laurel and Hardy Feature Productions and 20th Century Fox. Runtime 1 hour 14 minutes, color black and white, aspect ratio 1.37 to 1. All right, so a reasonably decent Laurel and Hardy flick. I'm not looking forward to Saps at Sea. Let me tell you what's coming down the pike before Karate Man wets his pants. Sorry, Karate Man. We're giving Karate Man a hard time today because he wet his pants over Beverly Hills Cop 4, which I'm not going to watch and review. Sorry. I'm not signing up for Netflix just to watch that 2024 movie. The only 2024 movie I'll watch is the Eric Roberts Alien Sharks movie. Come on. Movies list. Open says me. All right. Now I'm waiting for my movies list to load. Sorry about that. I should have opened it earlier, knowing that I would go down the pike. All right. One top of the list is Great Guns. I just reviewed that. I'm going to delete it now. So the next one I'm going to watch is Tenement, Game of Survival, 1985. Don't know if I'll finish it today, but I'll try. This is a July 4th paid holiday edition of my channel. So I'm going to take a little nappy poo. Depending on how long my nappy poo lasts, I might be able to get to Tenement. I don't have to pick my son up until 4:30, which is cool. And my friend, my faith healer, patriotic friend, didn't call me to do apostolate to the crowd in Tenderloin tonight. So at the very least, I should be able to catch up on some sleep. Tenement, Game of Survival, 1985 is next up, followed by Saps at Sea, which I mentioned was their last Hal Roach Studios film from 1940. So I guess Professor Quiz is saying that 1940 is the low point of the Laurel and Hardy era. Third one, after Saps at Sea, 1940, we've got Best of the Best 4, Without Warning, 1998. Another Karate Man recommendation. Karate Man recommendation. Sorry, I didn't see it right. All right, so that's the end of my review. Laters.